What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about a brand new horror thriller film directed by Dave Franco. It's The Rental. This was actually Dave Franco's directorial debut, and as such, I'm incredibly impressed. It does not feel like a first outing as director. It actually feels seasoned. And I don't usually say that about any director. I have a handful of directors that I feel have their own kind of style, and I can't exactly say that about Dave Franco because I have nothing to compare it to, but I don't know. Something about it feels incredibly different and absolutely welcome. So sit back and let's talk about this incredibly tensile film, and let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, tensile, relating to tension, aka tense. The Rental focuses on two couples that decide to take a breather for a weekend and just rent a beautiful home to unwind. Trouble brews, however, when one of the couples discovers a hidden camera in the shower head. From there on out, insanity ensues. While I do like this film quite a bit, I'm a little bit torn because there were certain areas in the movie that I found myself prone to notice horror movie tropes. Even from the very beginning, when the people get to the house for the first time, nobody's there, they call the owner, and I'm sitting there watching, he's sitting right behind them, isn't he? And sure enough, he was. It's not much of a spoiler, it's just an example, because things like this happen from time to time in the film where you know exactly what'll happen next. But not overall. These were just a few random moments in the film where I was left a little bit confused as to why they fell victim to the tropes in the first place, when the rest of the movie was more or less not like that. The rest of the movie instead felt pretty fresh in terms of tension and beauty. It's a very pretty film, at least in my opinion. The cinematography and production design particularly were both very well executed here, as was the acting. Usually in films like this, you know what you're getting into as far as acting goes, but every once in a blue moon, the casting will impress you, as well as the acting, and I was definitely impressed here. These are some very talented actors. You got Alison Brie, Jeremy Allen White, who I know is Lip from Shameless, and I'm super happy he's getting more roles because he is a fantastic actor. You got Dan Stevens, who we all know is a guy that can act, most recently from Legion. And you have Sheila Vand. Now, I haven't seen her in much, but she also does a great job here, making the casted talent absolutely wonderful. The characters were all very fleshed out too. Everybody in this film is there for a reason, and the more the film plays out, the more you get intimately familiar with their independent flaws. The film does a great job with character development, and even though none of these people are really that likable, you do feel the threat that they face because they are very realistic characters. You could possibly put yourself in their shoes because we're all flawed human beings. That also has to mean that you care about them. But yeah, I often find myself flip-flopping as far as how I feel about this movie as a whole because those tropes that it runs into now and then. There was enough freshness in this film to avoid tropes altogether, but they still are there. I also have a slight issue with the narrative as it has a decent inciting incident, but once that happens, there's no clear objective of what to do after that point. They're like chickens running around with their heads cut off, waiting for the next trope to happen. Because when that happens, they can deal with that. What I would have preferred is for these people to notice that camera in the shower, exactly like in the film, and then decide what they're going to do about it, and then carry out that mission. But when they ask themselves what they're going to do about it, they're all like, I don't know. Now I get why they say that, and I'm not going to spoil you as to that reason, and entertainment-wise, it still works out fine. But narratively, it's slightly aimless. But then again, thriller films like this are often aimless in the narrative to focus on thrills above all else. Overall, this is a great directorial debut from Dave Franco. Aesthetically, it is astoundingly good. The acting is surprisingly well done, and the thrills actually thrill. My unbiased score is 86% specifically because I could tell how much work was put into things like cinematography, production design, acting, and character development. My bias score is 90%, not that much different because as a whole, I had a great time with the movie. Averaging out these scores, we come to a final rating of 88%, 88 out of 100 possible stars, granting The Rental with a letter grade of B+, and surprise, surprise, it's actually the highest rated film I've seen this year. It just beat out Relic, which I have scored 1% lower than this. Both of which you need to check out. Man, horror films are somewhat killing it this year. Other than that, guys, let me know your thoughts on the film in the comments down below. How do you think Dave Franco did here? As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this review because there are more like it coming out. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, which should be the fourth Three Ninjas film. And until then, peace out.